Welcome, everyone. Lord of the Last Hearth here. Got a couple friends with me tonight to talk about something a little different than what we normally are chattering about. It's not a Song of Ice and Fire or Game of Thrones kind of stream. So I just want to warn you up front, we will be talking about Star Wars, in particular, Star Wars The Last Jedi. A recent trailer has just dropped about 3 days ago. So I figured, Friday night, 8 o'clock, what better, to do than talk about some of the things we love. And I love Star Wars probably just as much as Game of Thrones. Just got done talking to Don Willi about how, Game of Thrones got a little more, of my heart just because I've grown with the story. I was born, I think, when the last movie came out. But at least, what I've been able to see, you can always go back nowadays and watch movies. So, I love Star Wars just as much, and I wanted to not pass up an opportunity to get up with some friends and talk about it. But with that being said, let's get everybody on here and tell everybody what you guys do, what your name is, where they can find you. Don Willi, go first.
Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's Don Willi. So glad to be here with my peoples, and you can find me at my channel, a Don of Ice and Fire. But today I am a Darth of Ice and Fire. We're talking about, yeah, man, Star Wars: The Last Jedi, and hopefully it'll be great.
Alicia, tell them who you are.
What's going on, YouTubes? Happy to be here with my homies, the Salt Don, the Last Hearth, and the BrokeBlackMan. It's always fun when we hang out. Y'all can find me with any of these gentlemen here on the panel, hanging with the Mad Queens, and doing some random cool shit on the Walking Bread channel. Hit us up. So let's get into this chat though.
BBM.
Hello all, BrokeBlackMan 94 here. You can pretty much find me in a lot of channels, really. It's like almost like where am I not yet? But glad to be here talking to Tony, to Alicia, and first time ever with Don Willi here, talking about damn Star Wars. Let's get to it.
Oh, cool.
BBM be trying to make the 8 with the damn streams and shit.
How many you got now? You got over 1,000 now, don't you?
Yep, and it's all on the backs of freaking Kylo Ren. It's all about destiny.
Good shit, man. Congrats. I already told you already, but well deserved, man. Well deserved. Anybody wants to check out a good channel, check out BBM BrokeBlackMan 94. Okay, we're going to get into this. We just thought, we'd have a little informal stream, talk about the newest trailer that's dropped. And I want to get everybody's opinion right off the bat, what we without getting too into it right this second, but how was everybody's feelings on the trailer? Did you like it? Did you dislike it? Did you think it was a well done trailer to drop at this time? We got about 3 months, not even, till the movie comes out. I would hope there's going to be at least another trailer, but I'm not sure. I don't know how the trailer dropping thing works, but we'll go with Don Willi first. How did you like it? Did you think it was a good trailer to drop at the time?
Yeah, I thought it was a great trailer, actually. And now we got 2 months, I believe, until the movie drops. And man, October, we're halfway through October. November is going to fly, and then the next thing you know, it's going to be December, and it's going to be time for Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars. And I can't sing, so, don't make fun of me and my horrible singing there. But anyway, yeah, I thought, the way that things kind of played out, especially with, Luke, and you seeing, the dude who's become a hermit. He's really not, he's kind of not all there. He's scared of the power that Rey possesses, saying basically that, Kylo Ren was kind of like that before. He should have been scared, but now he is. Kylo possibly trying to kill his mom after killing his pops. You see Snoke force choking Rey or torturing her in some way. And then at the end, the whole thing with Rey and Kylo, I'm like, yo, what is that about there? I mean, we've been hearing about the whole Reylo thing for a while. People have been shipping them ever since the last movie. So I can't wait to see how this all plays out.
What about you, Alicia? Did you like it? Dislike it? Got any qualms about it?
Nah, I thought it was cool. I dug it. I mean, I was already gonna be watching, but now I'm gonna watch, that much more excitedly. I am wondering about the mystery that seems to be forming around Snoke and Rey. I think that's going to be interesting to see it played out. And it looks like what's his name, Kylo, he's having a bit of a nervous breakdown at some point. So that's going to be interesting to see him completely unravel and see where it goes. But yeah, I'm digging it.
You BBM, I know you already did a trailer breakdown, but how for the people that haven't seen your take on the trailer, what did you think about it?
Trailer, I loved it. It's like after watching that trailer, you think you have like the Force ability to see, okay, this is what's going to happen, but at the same time, the trailer could just be trolling us. Like I remember when The Force Awakens, with their trailers and teaser trailers and their like advertisement, I thought that, Finn was going to be the Jedi. And the next thing you know, it turned out that all this time it was actually Rey and her damn story. And just seeing that last scene where, Kylo's just stretching his hand out to like Rey, it's like, wait a minute, is that even the same scene? Or then when you hear like voiceover of certain characters, it's like, okay, is Snoke talking about this person? He's talking about that person. It's like, I'm already gonna like go and buy a damn ticket, but just because of that, now I have to like freaking like pre-order the damn ticket. So I make sure I can just see this film before it gets like leaked out online. It's just damn Star Wars, man. That's it.
Yeah, it's funny you bring that up because that's what when I watched the trailer first time, you're just in awe because if you're a Star Wars fan, any new material, you're just like you're ready for it. We've been pretty spoiled when it comes to Star Wars since Disney's had pretty much control of it because now they're pumping out a film a year. You got the trilogy with 7, 8, 9, and we have the side movies that are coming out in between. So we've been pretty spoiled. And then when the trailer first dropped, first one, I'm like, cool, I'm all pumped. Then I start going back and seeing, because you're hearing voices, you're thinking that this person's talking to this person. And I love how they did that. It was really superbly done, I think, in the way to get you hyped. Because you're thinking like, all right, like you said, the scene where Kylo is reaching out, and you think he's reaching out to Rey. And Rey's asking him for guidance and want him to show it away. And I kept going back and forth, trying to see if I could tell if the scene was the same scene because all they show is, facing them. So behind you got like, it's pretty dark. And then I know at Kylo is when you see like embers of something falling behind him. And I'm like, nah, they can't be the same. They're just trolling us, And then the whole thing with Snoke, like what Alicia said, there's such this like thing around Snoke. Like I don't know how many videos I've watched on YouTube about who's people Snoke or they think Snoke is. Like I think the most I've seen is a lot of people think Snoke is Mace Windu. And I don't buy it, but like I can see where, because how a lot of these films and shows, even goes with Game of Thrones, like if you don't see them actually die, they didn't die. So like we'd only seen Mace Windu go flying out the window, and these are Force sensitive, he can cocoon himself in the Force to absorb, being hurt when they fall. So it's like I can see where, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be somebody we've have yet to see yet or yet them to mention. I don't think it's any past person. A lot of other people too think it's what's his name, Darth Sidious. I don't think it's that either. But we'll go from there. What do you think, Don? Do you think the whole aura of Snoke? Like, do you think he's going to be somebody that we've already seen already, or met somebody they've already mentioned, or is he going to be somebody completely out the woodwork we haven't even seen or heard of yet?
I'm thinking Snoke equals Snoke, You know, now, you know, you got some of the books that are coming out, and they talk about Snoke being from like possibly even a totally different galaxy. You know, like I've been watching a few channels, and they've talked about like some of the books that came out recently, and how Snoke is most likely just some dude from like the next galaxy over, or like the dark reaches of space. I don't think that he's gonna wind up being someone from the past. That would be a little too cliche. And also with the way that Disney has been doing the canon ever since they kind of scrapped all of the other stuff and decided to call it Legends. Um, it would be, I don't know that it would serve the story to make Snoke secretly have been somebody else the entire time. I think that Snoke is who he is. I mean, we haven't seen anybody else with any pimped out gold robe like that, because we saw him with the pimp robe on. I want to know what that's about. You know, we don't know what his powers are yet. He's training Kylo Ren to do something, and I think it's better to unravel the mystery of who Snoke is, where he came from, and have him be something totally different rather than him be like some ancient Sith Lord or an ancient Jedi, or even a Jedi that died. Because what, it would have been about what, maybe 40 or 50 years since Mace Windu died, and come on, he looks nothing like Mace Windu. He would have been missing a hand also. So nah, man, the whole Mace Windu thing is like, yeah, it was a good shot, guys, but nah, Snoke is Snoke.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people want to say because he got a bald head. It's like, is that your only reasoning for thinking that Snoke's Mace Windu? Because they're two bald men. Like, come on, man. It cracks me up when you see some of these theories about who, and everybody's got to be a secret somebody. Like, everything goes back. It's like the secret Targaryens of the Force. Like, everybody is a secret somebody.
Yeah, Snoke is Aegon Targaryen, confirmed.
Right? Yeah, I think it's between like 30, 50 years since Mace, or he went out the window with the confrontation with him and Sidious and Anakin. Yeah, so I mean, yeah, and I've even seen people say that they thought it was, you know, if you're not into the whole legends and the side stories, there a lot of people thought it was Darth Bane, because if you read the Darth Bane books, I've read them. They're really good. They're one of the, I think, the better ones that they've came out with. That one and Darth Plagueis. They really let you like dive into how Sidious is Sidious, you know. And I seen with Darth Bane though, at the end of the third of the trilogy, the third novel of the trilogy, he's trying to figure out a way to somewhat get like immortality. He doesn't want to die, and he doesn't want to pass on, you know, the Dark Lord mantle to Darth Xana, and like he's trying to find ways around that. I think it's I forget the guy's name, Darth Endedu, or I think or something is his name. He had Sith Holocron where he was talking about how, I guess, to achieve immortality, and like just because that's stated in there, people was like, well, it could be Darth Bane and another bald guy. So it's like, yeah, some of that just cracks me up. But you know, I guess I'm just as guilty for watching it. But yeah, what do you think, Alicia? What do you about Snoke and the whole aura or surrounding Snoke? Do you think he's gonna be just, you know, like Don Willi said, just some guy from a different galaxy that nobody's came across yet? And then to follow that up, what do you think? What makes Snoke special if this is the case? If he's not somebody from the lore and canon from the past?
I think Snoke is Gollum born again, and he was saved by the ring. Now that Sauron was defeated, he can wield the ring of power and train his minions as he sees fit. That is all.
What about you, BBM? What do you think? You think what? I guess that'd be a better question too. If not, who Snoke is? What makes Snoke so special? I mean, like, where if he hasn't been heard of or seen, you know, until this time period of the Star Wars story, like, what makes him so special? Like, we don't, and that's, I guess, it's a hard question to answer because we don't really know anything about him. But how do you feel about Snoke?
For starters, hopefully you could just troll in there and like, oh my goodness, really Gollum.
That was 1,000% Valyrian still trolling. Snope is just fucking Snope, man. Sometimes a pen is just a pen, damn it.
But this is Star Wars. A pen can't just be a pen, though. But like, yeah, just like what Don, even you, Tony, were saying, it's like when I was like first hearing about, okay, who could possibly be Snoke? Yeah, I was on, you know, the tinfoil saying, yeah, it's possibly Mace Windu, you know. And then I was like, you know what? It could also be, you know, Darth Bane, or it could be Plagueis. It could even be Sidious. But the way how like Disney is like going through it, saying, oh, we want to make something like new. I really just want Snoke to be just a new character. You know, let him get his chance to shine. Don't like say, oh, I'm really Sidious or this and that. Then it's really just you continuing your damn work. It's like, no, I think Sidious, he did his run. He did what he had to do. He's dead, or maybe he's still alive. Who cares? But with this new series, new generation, it's like if they want to do something new and fantastic, make us not say, you know what, this is basically a carbon copy, you know, of the original trilogy and stuff. Make it all brand new. And he better do something badass in this film to make us say, okay, now we have something to fear. He has to basically top Sidious, top Vader, top them all, basically. And it's going to be hard to do that. So wherever they're going to plan out, do it something fantastic.
Yeah, I agree with you. It's like another thing too. Like a lot is getting a lot of hate. I know, or I don't know if I'm called hate or what, or just saying it for what it is. Force Awakens, especially before Rogue One came out, Force Awakens really did come off like it was, you know, a carbon copy of A New Hope. And a lot of things kind of like went the same way. Like even with Snoke, like if you look in the beginning movies, which is really episode 4, 5, and 6 from the 70s and 80s, if you look at Sidious, like he really doesn't do too much. You know what I mean? He's all you see is him, a cloaked figure sitting in the background. You know, so like you don't really know of the power he, you know, possesses until like episode 1, 2, and 3 come out, and then some of the side stories. But even see, that's my problem too with some of these side stories and lore. Like they straight up say it's not canon. It's all, you know, extra shit. So even some of the books it shows that Sidious, he ends up like living on as something. I forget. He does something with his conscience and lives on through some kind of clones he develops or whatever. But like you can't put that towards the movies because, you know, they say it isn't canon. So it's the extended universe or whatever. But yeah, like I mean, I don't know if I'd be so let down if Snoke wasn't like on a Sidious level. You know what I mean? But I would like for them to eventually get to why is he of all people like over top the First Order. Like most people, I understand how like when it comes to power, it's who people, you know, you don't have to really be too powerful. It's who people think holds the power. And you can do that without having one bit of power. You know, if you just, you know, come off like you are the man, some people will go with you're the man. And I guess it leads into like with Kylo. I really like Kylo Ren as a character. I don't know, so like I like how he has that struggle with the Force. It seems like he can't, like he wants to be, you know, this dark side Darth Vader, mini me Darth Vader, because it's his granddad and all that. But you see a lot of times where he struggles because of the fact that he was trained by Luke, his uncle, as to be a light side Jedi. And you know, it looks like he struggles with both of them being pulled back and forth. And it seems like Snoke wants to him because of the fact that he has like both of them already entwined in him. How do you feel, Don, about the Kylo Ren character? Do you like the character, or do you think they, you know, or did a shit job with him? I know a lot of people don't like Kylo Ren, but me, I actually like him. Do you appreciate the struggle they show with him? How do you feel about Kylo?
Kylo, you know, to take it back to, you know, our other favorite series, kind of reminds me of an emo. He reminds me of Jon Snow a little bit. You know, where it's all about him just moping around, and I'm supposed to be the powerful one, and you know, where's my place in the world? Yeah, and I'm just like, it would look. It was cool to see him you know, wrecking the deck of the Star Destroyer, or like the control console. But at the same point, it came over as a little whiny. He's like, "What? You didn't get it?" You know. And then it's like, and a girl, "What girl?" They're like, you know, you see the stormtroopers like, "Oh, just gonna walk the other way now." Yeah, just not go down that corridor. I mean, it looked cool, but when you think about it in hindsight, it's like, dude, you're supposed to be this powerful fucking space wizard, and you're sitting here, you know, thrashing at this, you know, couple million credits console because, you know, they didn't capture a droid. Yeah, and I don't know, he comes off as a little whiny sometimes. And a lot of people had issues with Anakin being the emo whiny dude in episodes 1, 2, and 3, and it's like, oh man, maybe you guys shouldn't have went back to the well on that one. But look, he has a cool look to him. You know, he was able to hold a blaster bolt in midair and just keep it there until he decided to let it go. And I like his sword fighting skills because it's a little less refined. It's a little more rugged. You know, it's just me trying to beat you down on some real hardcore shit, as opposed to being this, you know, fancy kind of choreographed. You know, I'm doing all the crazy super samurai moves. So I like Kylo Ren as a character, but I do think that they need to make him just add less emo next go round.
Yeah, I do agree with you on that. Do think they made him a little too much of a baby. Like, yeah, that's too. I didn't really think about it. He does kind of compare it with Johnson, the brooding, and you know, and he tore that console up. I never thought about it in that sense of how, you know, you don't look because it's in space and you think, you know, there's a lot of that kind of shit around, but it would probably have to cost a lot of money. He just went to town on it, and.
And real quick, I was just thinking, like, you know, when we were talking about Snoke earlier, I was like, where did Snoke and the First Order get all this money to build not only this new grand fleet, but they built a Death Star out of a planet? Where the hell did they get the money for all of this?
Right. Yeah, and then the thing is too, like, I heard some kind of talk. I don't know how true it is about how they were going to start like canonizing a lot of this extended universe stuff, because a lot of that the extended lore and stuff, it does kind of paint pictures on why people are and who they are and why they are who they are. Like, it starts to make it a little more like, okay, this is why this person's like that. But if they don't canonize stuff, like, you can't even use it. Like, if you look at like the First Order, real quick, like, if you see after Sidious and Vader taken down, and the Sith, and they did away with the Sith, and George Lucas didn't even want that to happen, from what I recall. Like, when Disney took it over, he wanted to stay the Sith, but then they make, okay, it's the First Order, it's just the name change. But then you think, like you said, where did all this money come from? And then it's like, I know in the extended universe, like, Thrawn is after Sidious, and he pretty much like takes and puts together a lot of these commanders and you know, generals, whatever they're called, and that took off into the unknown regions or whatever, got them together, and, you know, and made this like new faction or whatever. But like you said, like, they just, out of nowhere got all this shit. And like even in the trailer, you see the very first scene is Kylo. He's watching all these AT-ATs be manufactured. I mean, he's like a shitload of them, and them things are big. Talking about the price of something, that's got costs a lot of money. It's like I understand, like when you're somewhat of a like a Nazi fascism sort of government, you can just take from where you want to take, but still, like I understand, like we all, and then people are going to hit me there talking about, oh, you can't use logic and fantasy and sci-fi, but still, things, even if it's a fantasy, it still shit costs money. Anyway, let me get on and try to get off track. What do you think, Alicia? How do you think about? How do you feel about Kylo Ren? Do you think his character is a good character? Do they do a good job with him, or do you think he's just like Don said, this whole whiny baby? Thinks he's you know, should have the mantle because his grandfather was Darth Vader.
You know, Don Willi says more emo John. I say more emo, slightly more annoying and upgraded, but still discount Stannis Baratheon. Mine by rights. That is what this little asshole is running around the damn empire talking about. Oh, you don't like me? Fine. If you don't want to bend to me, I will fucking break your knees. That's basically what he's doing. I mean, he is a fascinating character, though. I'm definitely still interested in seeing his journey throughout the rest of this story. But yeah, hashtag mine by rights. Punk ass brat.
What do you think, David? How do you feel about Kylo?
Well, I think I'm going to be the only fanboy of Kylo in this damn panel here because, you know, from the punk assness, you know, left and right, whiny boy. What is this? Recheck of Stannis? But, like, yeah, I find him, like, a little bit more interesting, though. It's like, I would get why his character is like that because it's like he's the son of Han Solo and Leia. So it's like he has this hype to live up to. So maybe he just thought that couldn't live up to that. But maybe from this trailer, he could have this unspeakable power that we just don't know, but he's kind of like not showing it as much. Because again, like we were talking earlier, it's like, how was Rey able to just like beat him? Was it just, again, this hubris track thing that always happens to certain Sith and characters? I don't know, but I don't know. It's a definite that they're going to build a redemption arc around him, and I'm a sucker for redemption arcs, so it's like, bring it. I'm on it.
Yeah, outside the whole like whiny crybaby thing, like I do like he's like Don said, he's got a cool look to him. I do appreciate the lightsaber with the cross guards on it, like, and the whole reason it has those cross guards is because it was an unstable kyber crystal, so like they needed to exert the energy out the sides like that, and like from way I understood how they explained it, that this book that showed when Force Awakens came out, Rogue One, and it showed why like that was the way it was. But yeah, I do get kind of, you know, like I had enough with the like whininess, and that's a good comparison. Lisa, he has got that Stannis, it's mine by rights kind of attitude.
You know, but Don Willi is right. You know, he does have that swag, and that's those Han Solo genes coming through in a very dark and malicious way, but they're there nonetheless.
I do like his walk. He got that walk, like he dipping the shoulder, like that shoulder first kind of thing. And like it like you said, like I do kind of appreciate his struggle, like where it seems like he struggles to let go, like to become fully with the dark side. Like he has to let go the attachment he has to his mom and his dad. And like what he does, when how like they kind of fool me a little bit with the Force Awakens when he's on that catwalk with Han, and he's like, can you help me or whatever, and he lets the tear go and everything, and puts the act on it, and has him grip the lightsaber and just hits the button and it goes right through him. And it was like it kind of fooled me for a second. I thought maybe he's struggling, but I didn't. It shows that he probably ain't struggling with it that much unless he's keeping it, down deep. And like even that scene with the we're gonna break this thing down in a minute, scene by scene. But the scene with him when we think, you know, he's facing his mother, and he's trying, it looks like he's Gary Cry there to make a choice to, you know, dispatch his mom. And I think that was, they're trolling us when it comes to that. I think it's really not what she's looking at and what he's looking at, but who am I? That's just my opinion. I guess we'll find out later. But like David said, he brought up a good point about Rey. Now, she's pretty much like his opposite in the movie, I guess, if you want to say that. Like, a lot of people think that they are related somehow. I don't see that as much because it's weird. She was in front of Leia, and if they really do the whole twin thing for this, like, I'm tired of the copies from the old movies. Like, can we just move on and make it its own thing? Like, I'm hoping that ain't what it is, or, you know, but like, it's weird. She has this affinity to the Force, but she doesn't understand it. I was talking to Don Willi about it. It's like she has this power and doesn't even know what the power is. But then you get like Kylo, where he is striving to be that, and he can't even, you know, seem to grasp it 100%. So it's like, what do you think with Rey? I guess one question: why do you think Rey is gonna end up being special? They're already painting it out for her to be something special. If they refer to her as the Last Jedi, or if it's Luke, how do you feel about Rey as the character they're painting her to be, Don Willi?
I mean, it's going to be interesting to see, because you know what, like, people aren't even really talking about her parentage anymore. I think like that's kind of died down. Because you know, before the whole talk was, oh, she's Luke's son, oh, she's Kylo Ren and Kylo Ren's twin, but then it's like, nope, it's already been confirmed that Kylo is at least minimum 7 years older than she is. So that's out the window. Then it was like, oh well, maybe she's Han and Leia's secret child. I'm like, yo, why in the world would they abandon her then? And why would Han Solo not, you know, like, I think that The Force Awakens brought up a lot of questions, and I'm hoping that we actually do get some answers. You know, there's the possible thing of her maybe being Obi-Wan's granddaughter or something. Look, I honestly, I don't know. I just hope they make her a more well-rounded character the next time out, because, like I said, the first time I saw the Force Awakens in the movie theaters, I was thinking to myself, like, okay, you know, literally yesterday she had no knowledge of what the Force was, and today now she's able to do Jedi mind tricks. And I'm like, it took Luke like 3 movies to learn how to do the Jedi mind trick properly, and here she is all of a sudden not even knowing what the Force was and can do a Jedi mind trick. I'm like, it's a little shaky on that one. I think, you know, I have no problem with her being powerful. Make her as powerful as you want to make her, but I think the actual abilities that she's able to harness, I hope that they actually do a deep dive into some training, and it's not just, you know, she wakes up one day and it's like, oh yeah, you know, all that shit that, you know, you've been training to learn how to do, I just know how to do it. And it's like, how? It's, you know, it's the Force. I'm like, the fuck? What the hell is that supposed to mean?
Yeah, it is crazy because they show, it's just crazy when you have her. She does no like experience. From what we've known, she has no training in it. Like, I've seen a lot of theory things, and I don't know if it was like, you showed the one flashback thing where it showed her as a little girl, like somebody's leaving her, and you know how when they take them to the Jedi academies, usually they're like the younglings, they're real small. Like, that was the whole reason why, like, they didn't want to train Anakin, and Anakin wasn't even that old. You know what I mean? He was still a little boy, and they said that he was too old, that they didn't want to bring him into training and all that. And it was just weird too how you said like how all these people, like these Jedis, like say like Obi-Wan, like if she ends up being like his granddaughter or whatever. It's funny that there's like that's even a possibility, because they always, I mean, they're human, most of them anyways, Jedi wise. Like you do have the different alien races, but they always tell them, I guess, Jedis to not have like emotional attachment. I think that's why, for the most part, Anakin becomes Darth Vader, because he was so attached to Padme and everything, and he couldn't save her and wanted to be able to, to make it to where she can never die and all that shit. So it's like there's a reason why, and I understand the reason why, but then it's like kind of goes against our whole like way of teaching them. If she ends up being like Obi-Wan, and Obi-Wan was, he's not pure, but he's one of the more pure ones. Like, it would be weird if she comes off as any, not just Obi-Wan, but any other Jedi or whatever's kid. But what do you feel about it, Alicia, with Rey? Do you feel that they're going the right route with this, with the way she has all this ability, or do you think why is she so special? What is your opinion if she ends up being special?
I do like Rey's journey. I'm very much as interested in her journey as I am Kylo's. And at some point in time, they are going to, cross paths very heavily again. And I think that it'll be around the time where they're both coming into a different understanding of the situations that they're in. However, my Valyrian steel tinfoil says something else. When I think of Rey, like the Harry Potter theme starts playing in my head, and I see like Yoda's Force Ghost coming up to her. You're a wizard, Rey, and now you must start your training and she's hella awesome at it. I mean, you look at Potter, he's able to cast one of the strongest Patronus charms ever in the history of those wizards, and he shouldn't have been able to do that just being like a, what was it, 4th or 5th year student, but he did the shit. And now we got Rey in here with no training, pretty much getting into this shit. She gets a lightsaber. That was her owl coming from Hogwarts. You have now been accepted into the fold. As far as the Last Jedi moniker with her, I think it's going to be really, really interesting, because I feel like this is where there's the potential for the Gray Jedi to come into play in the storyline. Like, Luke says, that the Jedis must end or finish, or, something to that effect. And I don't think he means it in a malicious way. I think he wants the whole order to transcend into what the ancient texts and scrolls say that it should be. So if they pull that in, I think it'll be very, very interesting to see how it affects Rey and by extension Kylo as well.
Yeah, they have the one scene in the newest trailer where they showed a light, and it's just like a couple. I heard a lot of it saying it's supposed to be the Journal of the Wills, which is like, I guess, the interpretation of what a Jedi is in the light side or whatever. And I could see, him maybe wanting to change things, because I mean, time after time we show that there's always going to be good Jedis, and you got the gray ones, the ones that are on the border of being light and dark, and maybe they'll get to a point where it shows that they have to have a balance of both. It's too hard to tell somebody that they can't feel. Like, I don't care how powerful you are and what you have, and when it comes to the Force, like, to tell somebody or they are to lack emotion, like, is dangerous for one. Two, I don't think it's possible. You're going to have some kind of emotion at some time, even if it isn't towards the opposite sex. You're going to have your family, whatever. You can never tell what the future holds and what's going to bring you emotion and pain. So maybe it's just a new way of doing things. Who knows? But hopefully they'll get into that. What do you think, David? What do you think about Rey? Why is she so special? What is her character, and is she going to be the Last Jedi? What is so special about this girl to you?
I love AK's comparison, you know, to Harry Potter. It's like Harry was able to do a whole bunch of stuff, and again, he was like a young wizard. Same with Rey now. It's like she's able to do so much stuff, and yet what Don said, it like took Luke basically 3 movies to like become. They had to like, I want them to explain like her parentage, but at the same time, I don't want her to be Luke's daughter. If she was like Obi-Wan's granddaughter, so that I could possibly buy. But at the same time, I just want to be someone who's completely new. Like in the Force Awakens, Maz Kanata said, like, yeah, your parents are dead. And like, I think you like knew about that. So maybe they truly don't even want to like continue with the parent route. But it's like in this movie, they had to explain, okay, why was she able to, you know, use like the Force with the mind control and all this other stuff though? It's like, when she was left over on the planet of Jakku, it was like, was she originally at that Jedi Academy, whatever? And maybe she's like the sole survivor of it all, so they just mind wiped her, and everything she's doing is based off of muscle memory. Like, if they explain something of that magnitude, like, okay, I'll possibly just buy it. But if they're just gonna just say, okay, she's just this chosen one, the Last Jedi, whatever, it's like, come on now. You have to explain this. I don't want no fan explaining thing, you know, Game of Thrones type deal. They have to like explain, okay, this is why she's just that powerful, you know? And when they do that, then I'll accept it. And then when whoever crapped on The Force Awakens, I can say, yeah, The Last Jedi just proved that Force Awakens was dominant. I was one of the first who was like, yep, it's good. Last Jedi just confirmed it. But until then, yeah, they have to like explain that. Point blank.
I got it. I just figured it out. Rey is so damn strong. You know, she didn't have a Yoda. She had a yogurt. And she uses the power of the Sworce, which is 10 times more powerful than the damn One Ring Jedi trick nonsense. I'm telling you, that's what it is. Y'all mark my words. You heard it here first. May the Schwartz be with you.
Yeah, that movie's great. I understand, like when they were talking about or when Dave was talking about like when you first watch these trailers for Force Awakens, you see like the parts where they show Finn with the lightsaber and shit. And you get like me, I'll be honest, first I thought maybe it was gonna focus more around Finn. And then, you know, now you end up seeing like he's more like a side character. And that's a good question I wanted to throw at you guys. Now that you see this trailer, it kind of seems like Finn even took more of a backseat. Because like they showed him, but they just showed him with the I forget what the hell that thing's called. Some kind of like stun thing he used on Captain Phasma. What is Finn's like? Do you think Finn's gonna take even more of a backseat now because it's starting to get more centered around Rey and the you know what I mean, the comparison between Rey and Kylo, and then you got Luke and Leia, all those in there, and Snoke. Is Finn going to even take more of a backseat now? Or what is Finn's part in this story? Is he just going to be, you know, her you know, sidecar, side henchman kind of person, or does he have a bigger role that we just aren't seeing or they're not showing? What do you think, Don? How do you feel about Finn?
I mean, it seems like they're setting up the story to me to kind of revolve around Finn, Rey, Kylo, and possibly Poe. Poe, to a lesser extent, you know, the major 3 players seem to be Finn, Rey, and Kylo. But Finn has taken sort of a back seat when it comes to them showing him in the trailers. But, I mean, we're hearing that he's supposed to have a lot more to do in this one, that he's supposed to be doing infiltration and a bunch of stuff. So it's going to be interesting to see, like, how it is that he winds up handling himself and what they do with his story. So, I mean, I'm intrigued to see where they go with Finn. He got his ass kicked in the last one, but, you know, I've heard he's supposed to be super badass in this one, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, I heard I think it was, I don't know if it was like some kind of leaked scenes or what, but I don't even remember where I heard it from. But it had where he, you know how he gets really messed up in the end of the last, in the Force Awakens, and I guess he goes into one of the, I forget what they're called, back the tanks or something like that. I think it's called, where they like heal themselves or whatever. Like in Rogue One, they were supposed to show a scene with Vader showing him in the tank with like out of the suit and like not having the limbs and shit. But they, I guess, they didn't show that one. But apparently he heals all back up. And I heard the same thing. He's like supposed to be real badass in it. Maybe they're just leaving, you know, him out of the trailer, just that one scene, you know, because they got something in store for us. And like you said, that's the thing with these trilogies, is that you can, you know, you don't have to show your whole hand in one movie. Because like they can slowly, you know, let it out that way to keep people intrigued. But how do you feel, Alicia, about Finn? Do you think it's just the story is he's gonna be one of the main figureheads in this story, or is he gonna take more of a backseat to Rey's story?
You know, BBM is probably the only one that's gonna understand my bias, and he's giggling now because I think he already knows where I'm going. I have an issue with characters named Finn. And that's not necessarily for Star Wars, but just all around in general. Finns, I just don't like. There was a fucking Finn on Glee, couldn't stand his ass. There was a Finn on The 100, I wanted to choke the fuck out of him with all of my force strength that I could. And now we have this new guy. And I mean, his journey could be interesting. I kind of, you know, ship the thing that's going around with Finn and what's his name, Poe. But then again, still, I have this weird issue with people named Finn, and he could end up being a fuck up in this one. You know, he damn near got himself killed once already, so who knows whether he's actually going to do more harm than good. He could be a very valuable stepping stone, or he could be a dick roadblock without even meaning to be. I don't know how it's going to go, but we'll find out.
Damn, a dick roadblock. I ain't another guy like that. No, it did. It cracked me up though in the one scene where he grabs the lightsaber and they pan to his face and he gets that mean look and he gets and you see that lightsaber light up and then like 30 seconds later, boom, on his face. I was like, damn, that was a letdown. And I thought he was going to at least give a little fight to Kylo.
That's what I'm saying. You know, these characters named Finn are a big letdown a lot of times. So I don't know how much I want to be really invested in him.
What about you, David? I mean, we know how Alicia feels about Finn. How do you feel about Finn and the character?
The starters, like, damn, AK, like Finn from Glee, Finn from the 100.
Yo, you know what? Make
Make
it a new title. The one that hates Finns. I'll own it.
Yep, you got that title now. I'm gonna add that on the list of titles I give you now in intros and outros. But like, damn, like I still like Finn. Finn is cool. He's bearable, you know. He's not like a Jar Jar Binks, whatever. Even though like as a kid I was cool with Jar Jar. Now I'm like, he's just there. But Finn, he's promising though. It's like they're gonna give him like an actual role because it's like it's always like the Trinity, the Trinity. You know, there was the Han, the Luke, the Leia. So with this series, it has to be what, Rey, Finn, and Poe. But then again, originally, Darren was supposed to be killed off originally, but now they brought him back. So it kind of shows that the real trilogy. I keep saying trilogy. The Trinity is supposed to be kind of like Kylo, supposed to be, you know, that last one, since he's kind of doing this redemption arc. But who knows how it's gonna go down? Maybe from what like Don, I hear other things is supposed to have an actual plot with him. And good, they didn't just tell us everything in the trailer about it. They just keep it under the nose. We see him like going again undercover, and then eventually he's going to be facing Captain Phasma, who hopefully she gets a bigger role than before. They kind of just hyped her up because, you know, who she plays in Game of Thrones and having this awesome chrome, you know, stormtrooper outfit. I was like, okay, maybe she's been knocking some skulls, but in reality, no. So like, are they going to do the General Grievous type treatment with her? I don't know, but hopefully they're going to do something with him. If not, then it was like, I guess we're just going to constantly just have to ship him with Poe Dameron. That's the only thing is possibly may just happen. And if they're going to do a carbon copy of Empire, you're going to see and about to be crystallized, and the other one's going to be like, the other one's going to be saying, well, I know, and then bam.
I'm going to take that, BBM, as one of your bold predictions. The Force must have 3 heads. Confirmed.
Oh man, yeah, they make it easy with Finn, I guess, man. I don't know. Like Poe, like with Poe Dameron, like you like I can take it more because they make it, they set it out to show what Poe is. Like they don't make him out to be more than what his role is. You know what I mean? So, but Finn, it kind of, I don't know if they meant to do it or not. Or maybe just the way I took it. I thought Finn was going to have more to him. By the way, like the trailers and everything came out before the movie, but I mean everybody has their role, I guess. Who knows?
But like when you see like Finn's scenes, it's like some of it's like a bit serious, but at the same time it's comical.
Right.
Scenes. You know, oh, we can use the Force. That's not how the Force works. It's like, okay, we know your role. You're basically the Jar Jar Binks that was promised, not just a down.
The Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, I remember. You ever seen? They have a whole bunch of theory videos with Dark Jar Jar and and all these Jar Jar on the dark side Jar Jar. It's crazy. But I love theory videos. Though. They make me laugh. If I'm ever having a bad day, I'll look at theory videos and that shit make me laugh no matter how bad of a day I'm having. Especially some of the crazy shit. Mace Windu, Snoke. That's got to be one of the top ones. But we're gonna go back and talk about the trailer a little bit with pretty much like from the beginning to the end of the trailer. It was only about like 2 minutes 30 something seconds, something like that. But the first voice you hear in the trailer is Snoke, and what he says, when I found you, I saw raw, untamed power, and beyond that, something truly special. Now I want to get everybody's opinions on before I say anything else. Who do you think Snoke is talking to, Don Willi?
I'm gonna say Kylo. I mean, look, I think that for one, Kylo's confidence was kind of shaken after him being defeated by essentially someone who was totally untrained and him being unprepared. And it's like, all right, well, I killed my father. I thought that would make me more powerful, and it hasn't. You know, I got beat by some rando, because to him right now, Rey is just some rando. You know, I got beat by a rando. You know, you told me to come here and train. What is my purpose? So it's kind of like, all right, well, look, nah, kid, you're good. You're good. Look, I like you. I like you a lot. This is why I brought you here. You know, I saw something special in you. Like I got a lot of plans for you. You know, look, one day you get to wear the gold robe just like me, but you know, we gotta do some more training witches. You know, and I think that's what happened with him, and I think that's who Snoke was talking to, because it would be now, mind you, yes, it's definitely a bad guy trope, especially when it's the evil leader, to lure in some apprentice, and then at the last minute it's like, oh, you're better than the person I thought was the shit. Go ahead, kill him, take their place. So I think we need, you know, Snoke to be hyping up Kylo, like, nah, man, don't worry. It's just a scratch, dude. You'll get over it. So that there comes a time where Snoke actually betrays Kylo, and Kylo has like, yo, wait, motherfucker, I killed my father for this shit, and this is what you're doing to me. So I think he was talking to Kylo.
I really do hope that's what it is. I mean, I feel a little differently, but I'll wait till the end. But yeah, I know I kind of think though that Kylo had at least a little bit of an understanding of, if not how powerful Rey was, the potential for her power, because like you see in the one scene where he's like, the girl, it's like, look, like, or he knows, like you almost get the thing that he knows of her, or at least feels her. And it would make sense if we would see she's at least some kind of force sensitive, because they usually can feel each other's presence, even if they're not like master apprentice or whatever. So like I think he had somewhat of an understanding. Now it doesn't take away that it probably hurt his pride to get his ass whooped by an untrained force user, even if she even knew what it was, which we know she really didn't. So like, yeah, that probably did hurt his ego a little bit. You know, here he is. At least we don't know what the level of his training is, because you hear at the very end he tells I forget the dude's name, the other guy that's the general or whatever the hell he is, like the Grand Moff Tarkin character. I forget his name. What is it?
Hux.
Hux?
Yeah, General.
Okay. Hux. Okay. Yeah. He tells him to go get Kylo. We need to finish his training. So I mean, it tells us that he's not been fully trained. But what about you, Alicia? How do you feel about that first Snoke line that's said in the trailer? Do you think he's talking to Kylo or someone else?
Sorry, I was chatting with my roommate. So we're talking about what was the first line he said?
In the beginning of the trailer, they have Snoke. It shows Kylo looking over at the manufacturing of the AT-ATs, and then you hear Snoke say, "When I found you, I saw raw, untamed power, and beyond that, something truly special." Do you think he is talking to Kylo, or happen to be talking to someone else?
The easiest answer, I think, would be that he is talking to Kylo, but it would be a really good twist if he ended up talking to Rey or someone else. Who the someone else could be, I can't say, but like we've already established, you know, the Force must have 3 Jedi heads. So I don't know. I think it could be just as simple as he's talking to Kylo, but it would be quite interesting to see that it was someone else.
What about you, David? You feel the same? Or you think it? I mean, it's pretty obvious how they're gonna be Kylo or Rey. They're the real two force-sensitive people in the thing, other than Luke. And I would think Luke's at a point to where it's not going to be easily swayed by a couple words from Snoke to try to go to the dark side when his own dad couldn't lure him. So, who do you think it is, Rey or Kylo? David.
At first, I was like, it's possibly Kylo. Then I was talking to my friend Kevin Winter Madness, and he was like, well, you saw like in a YouTube channel where it's talking about, well, Snoke was onto freaking Kylo since he was like in the womb. So it's like, did he just expect Kylo to be this badass or something? I don't know. So I'm just guessing now it's possibly just simply Rey. Like after he finally like sees Rey and her potential, he's gonna like say this, like, but it's clear that it has to be Rey. Unless they're gonna throw it's actually Finn at us this whole time, that could be it.
Yeah, definitely ain't seeing the Finn part, but yeah, I agree. I do think it's gonna be Rey. I mean, and the whole reason I think that is because like I watched the trailer numerous times, and like it begins with Snoke talking, and I think it actually ends with, I think it ends with Snoke talking too, or Rey's the last one talking, but Snoke's the second to last, and in the end scene it shows him, looks like he's somewhat torturing Rey, and it seems like those scenes are together somehow. So I think he's probably got Rey, you know, in front of him, and he's trying to pull, you know, the game on him. And it makes sense. It would make a lot more sense too if it was still like the whole Sith Jedi thing, but now we have to call it the First Order or whatever. But the Sith, it's always, especially the rule of two, which is, you know, it wasn't like that before. A lot, like way back, like in the lore, thousands of years before the current movies that came out, it was like a group of Dark Lords, and then it got to where there was just one Dark Lord, and you always had a bunch of people trying to, you know, group together to take out that person, and it kind of kept, when they came up the rule of two, it was like a Darth Bane thing, and it was like you have the one master, the one that embodies the power, and then you have the apprentice, the one that what's it called? The one that whatever wants for the power is a different word, but the one that crave it, that's what it is. And then so like it kept, you know, it more of a balance because you had the master and the apprentice, and then but just like Don said, it's that, you know, that bad guy thing where you see something better come along, you completely throw away all what you worked for in this one person because you think this other person can be way better. And it kind of would make more sense if they had the rule of two thing going with this than for him to say, "Oh, I see Ray," and then to see that she has this raw power that hasn't been finally tuned or trained. And imagine if you know what I mean, put that to work. It's just like, I guess, like, it's easy me to compare a lot of things like baseball. I play baseball. There's a lot of people that have raw talent, and then there's people that, you know, they get drafted or whatever out of high school because of their raw talent, and you might not see them in the major league for 6 years because they have to finally tune that talent. You know, so I could see it being something like that. But like I do think he's talking to Ray in this one, where he sees what she's about and sees that she has that power, and he wants her to come under his guidance. But then you go, the second person that's talking in this trailer is Ray, and what she says is, something inside me has always been there. Then I was awake. I, I yeah, then I was awake. That I need help. And I'm thinking, like, I didn't understand it at first because, like, it seemed like it was two times of her talking broken up. But like I said, it says something inside me has always been there. Then I was awake, and it just says that I need help. You know what I mean? It doesn't seem like they go together, like they broke two times of her talking and just put it together. But I didn't understand it. You know, maybe you guys understand it a little better. I understand the first part where it says it's always been inside me has always been there. Something inside me has always been there. Then I was awake. So if you just kept that last four words off, it didn't really feel like they fit. Do you think that, you know, of course she's talking about the Force. Do you think she's talking to Luke here? This is on that island. I think it's Octu or something like that. Do you think that Ray has, it doesn't make really sense to me though. Like, the question of Ray is because she seems like she knows nothing about the Force. But here it is, it's like contradicting itself when she's saying she always knew something was inside her. Like, what do you think that she always knew something was there? Like, it doesn't. I don't even know how I can answer this question. What do you think that means, Don? Like, why are they showing us this in the trailer? If they pretty much paint the picture that she didn't really know what the Force was, why would they be showing us this in the trailer?
I mean, it could be one of those things where you have, you know, some people you hear say that they always felt that they were destined for greatness, right? And it's like they might feel as though that there's a special ambition about them. It's like I you know, like when they reach the highest heights, it's like I always felt like this was the place where I belonged, kind of thing. So it might just be a thing where it's like, yeah, I was stuck on Jakku for all those years, you know, waiting for my parents, but I always felt like there was something more than just that. It's like I always felt like after my parents came back and got me that there was going to be this greater thing that happened to me, but that honestly that would contradict the way that she was talking about herself in the first movie, because it was just all about, oh, I'm here kind of, you know, laboring, just waiting for my parents to come back. So yeah, I mean, like I said, the best that I can chalk it up to is when you have people who say that they've always felt like they were destined to do great things. I mean, that's the best answer that I can give for that.
It kind of brings up to, I guess you can kind of put the two together because of that one kind of contradicting how she feels. But if you look right after that, it has Luke Skywalker. He says, I saw this raw strength only once before, and it didn't scare me enough then, but it does now. What do you think he means with that? We'll go Alicia, but is he who do you think this one person he said he saw once before he's talking about? Because it seems like you know, the way they show the scene looks like he's on that island still, and only him and Ray are there. So of course he's probably talking to Ray. But what do you think this other once before was? Do you think I just don't see him being Kylo he's talking about. But then again, I guess I could be wrong. Who do you think he's talking about, Alicia?
I think it's a much stronger possibility that he's talking about Rey versus Kylo. And I just had a random tinfoil thought. To quote a goddess of the sea that goes by the name of Tia Dalma, you have a touch of destiny about you. And Rey's whole past has been like the number one question on everybody's mind since The Force Awakens. So to see where she comes from, who her parents are, what her lineage stems from, I think is going to answer a lot of questions as to what she can do. And like I was just saying in the chat, Rey could possibly, have plot points of Jean Grey also. The Phoenix was locked away inside her from a very young age. And it didn't cut loose until, much later in her adult life. I think Rey has the potential to fulfill that in an essence, if that makes sense. Like maybe Luke sensed her while she was a baby. I don't think that it was him that stranded her in the desert, but I think there's some type of connection there where he says he felt power raw like that once before. And it's possible because it was from a child, he didn't, put too much spark in it. But who knows? It's, it's one of those things like there's 1,000,001 what ifs and suppose this, suppose that. We won't know until we actually see it. So
I think the better question too would probably be not who left her there, but why. Like, why was she left
exactly.
on Jakku? You know what I mean? Like, did they maybe some people? Sometimes when you don't understand something, that's the scariest thing of all. You see this kid. The people in this vast universe that they live in. A lot of people know of the Jedi. Some of them probably have never experienced or seen a Jedi in their life, and never seen somebody wield the Force, knowingly wield the Force. So that could probably be kind of, it could be scary if you got a little kid that it can barely form sentences and they're throwing shit across the room, without even touching it. So I could see where, you'd want to, that kind of thing was scary. It's kind of like with the whole X-Men mutant kind of thing, like where, if you would have if you had a mutant kid that had some kind of power, it probably scared the shit out of you. Especially a little kid that doesn't understand the meaning of right and wrong. And you don't give them what they want one day and they break you in half without even touching you. Like that kind of stuff could scare you. And I think the bigger question is, why was she left on Jakku? But I'll go with you, David. What do you think Luke was talking about when he said he saw this raw power, raw strength only once before? Who is that person you think he's talking about?
Let me add in one other tie-in real quick that I just thought about.
Okay.
There's an entity called an Obscurial in the Harry Potter verse. And that's basically a young wizard that doesn't utilize their magic. It builds up and basically turns into something evil and almost crushes them from the inside out. Most kids don't make it through, but there was one that did. And he ended up being like one of the most powerful forces that was ever gone up against in that era. And it took a hell of a lot of wizards to bring him down. So Rey seems to maybe be a bit tempered in her usage of the Force, but I think it is something that's always been there that's just spread and spread. But she didn't know what it was. She didn't know how to use it or even how to tap into it. So she's got this genius mind where she can get all these scraps and put them together to make something to sell so she can survive a little bit where she is, but she doesn't know exactly what that power is. And now that she has been told about the Force and she's able to tap into it, it's going to lead to some very interesting places.
So, David, what do you think about it? You think that's who do you think Luke is talking about with that raw strength that he's seen once before?
Well, in my opinion, it has to be Kylo. Like something went down in Kylo's training, that he didn't take too serious, so he probably just dodged it off, but he probably shouldn't have done that because see what happened. Or I remember watching it on some YouTuber's channel where he compared that scene to when Luke was talking to Yoda, I'm not afraid, and Yoda was like, oh yes you are, facing Vader. So it could very possibly just be Vader he's talking about. Either way, Rey is powerful, and he's seeing that exact same thing in her that he saw before. But also could even be Sidious, because even like Sidious was whipping freaking Luke's ass, and even kind of like Vader's there. So it could possibly be those three, in my opinion, of who Luke could be talking about. But then it faces the question as if it could also possibly be Snoke. We don't know if Snoke and Luke ever met. Maybe the Lily books or something is mentioned they possibly met, but we don't know yet. So hopefully, if it is Snoke, I'll even be shocked if it's Snoke, because then it's just like, again, it's building up this hype over him. I just don't want it just to be a letdown. So that's like my take on it.
Yeah, I never really thought about that too. That it could, maybe he could be referring to Sidious, but then I don't know. But then you think when he said raw strength, like even though he might not know the extent of Sidious's training, like well, most people that have ever like, I think he refers to it when he's talking to Anakin when they're in the council thing or whatever. They're like sitting with each other, and I don't know if he mentions Darth Plagueis by name, but I think he mentions his master to Luke before when he's trying to tell him to get into the dark side. Okay, get into the dark side or whatever. But if you look, he's had some kind of training, Sidious, so I think he has to be probably maybe talking about it, like you said, it'd be Kylo, because Luke did have Kylo at his if he had I guess that place that's burning that we see in Force Awakens and this one, it what you call it had might be a Jedi Academy of some kind that he had. So that would make sense if it was Kylo, because he would get him from that raw state and be developing him. But yeah, I just wanted to let everybody know Alicia had a bounce. She's having problems with her PC, so she wanted me to tell everybody in the chat later, and that she will talk to everybody next time. She apologizes, but yeah, don't worry about it, Alicia. It's no problem. But yeah, we're gonna be probably done in the next 15-20 minutes anyways. But I guess we'll go on to the next person that's talking in this, and it's Kylo Ren, and he says, let the past die. Kill it if you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be. Now, who do you think this might be pertaining to, Don Willi, when Kylo says this?
It's either that Snoke is telling it, like it's a response to something that Snoke told him, like, hey, what is it, that I told you that you need to do, or it's after Rey is like, I need someone to show me my place in this whole thing, and him telling her like, hey, yeah, in order for me to become who I need to be, I had to kill my father and and my mother, and you have to let the past die. In which case she might be like, yeah, but you want to be like Darth Vader, so how are you letting the past die? So we'll have to see what happens with that one. But yeah, to me, it's either a response to Snoke asking him a question, or it's when he's talking to Rey and it's like, yeah, in order for you to become who you're really, really going to be, then you need to let the past die. Because, again, she might still be holding on to the whole thing about, she might be asking, do you know what happened with my parents and why they left me? Look, Tony, you there?
Sorry about that. I was muted. Yeah, I agree with you there a little with the thinking it's a response. I'm pointing more towards the response than him maybe saying something. But I could see where maybe he, you know, is having a discussion with Ray of some kind where he's, you know, like you said, she might be questioning all this stuff that she doesn't know of her past, and he's like, look, you know, you gotta let go of that shit and, like you said, be what you're meant to be. It makes sense both ways because, you know, the way they're painting Ray out to be, you know, is just like uber Jedi, you know. So I can see it being both ways. What do you think about it, David? Who do you think Kyler's talking to here? You think he's responding to someone or like Snoke, or you think he's talking to Ray?
Now, could you please like remind me of this part of the damn trailer? Because I'm
No
forgetting
problem.
this.
It's the part where I don't even think they're showing him. I don't exactly remember what the video part of it is, but Kyler's saying, let the past die. Kill it if you have to. That's the only way to become what you were meant to be. I think it's the part, right? Yeah, it is the part where he's like looking and Leia's looking. Do you think he's getting ready to kill his mom?
Okay, yeah. So if anything, that will just possibly just be Kylo either talking to possibly Rey or just talking to his mom, saying like the past is killing it. Maybe that's he's no longer, you know, a solo ever. He's just embracing the dark side. But like, if you're gonna touch upon like, will he kill his mom? It's like, I doubt they're gonna kill her off, and that's even like before thinking about the Carrie Fisher thing, before she like passed away and all. It's like, if anything, I would probably see like they're probably gonna kidnap her to probably just end the resistance, if anything, because of just like killing her off. It's like, again, it just like puts more fuel to like this redemption arc, whatever. But I think it's just like killing Han Solo alone will probably just like, for me, it does it with just the killing of Han Solo. But killing Leia, that's another thing entirely. It's like you can even see in the trailer, like when he begins like hesitate, even like shooting like the fire, shooting the damn pulling the damn trigger, he's beginning to hesitate even like more. You can see with Han Solo, it was more of like a trolling, you know, hesitation. But you can see like he really didn't like his father. But with Leia, it's like something totally different.
Yeah, I feel you on that too. Like the whole, I think the whole trailer was meant to make us think, you know what they wanted us to think with that whole scene, because it keeps going back and forth from his look to her look, his look, and like you said, even with Han, I think he might have a different relationship with his mom than he would maybe Han, just because it seems like Han didn't stick around even with Leia. Like you could kind of get it from the Force Awakens that, you know, he was sorry for like Walt leaving or whatever, and probably why he thought it was his job to bring their son back, you know. And then you I guess too with the whole thing with Princess Leia. I remember when Carrie Fisher had passed away, they said that a lot of people were worried if like, oh, well, was her parts done in the movie, blah blah blah, and they said that her parts had already been done by the time she had passed away, because a lot of her parts were set parts. They weren't out in the element. So I know with a lot of shows and movies, the set parts are usually done first because they can do them at any time. They don't have to wait for a certain weather or certain client. You know what I mean? So a lot of the parts that were done on sets, that, you know, they were done first. So they said that all her parts happened to be done. I would think somebody would have slipped and referred to, oh well, she was killed off in the movie before she died, kind of thing. Even know how tight-lipped they try to keep themselves with these, but who knows? I don't think that she's gonna die in the movie. If she does, I don't see it being by Kylo Ren. But like I said, I guess we'll have to see. The next part though is Poe Dameron, and Poe Dameron saying, "We have a spark that will light the fire that will burn the Force First Order down." Um, Now, do you think that's just a hypothetical spark, or do you think they have kind of like the with the Death Star, how they had plans to, you know, get to the weak spot of the Death Star and blow it up from inside out? Do you think that's a hypothetical spark, or do you think they have some kind of knowledge or key to bringing down the First Order as a whole somehow? How do you take that, Don Willi?
I think it's supposed to be a metaphor, just in terms of, the whole thing was they were looking for Luke Skywalker. Luke Skywalker was the hero of the galaxy, right? And so now, Rey, for all intents and purposes, as far as everyone knows, she has defeated Kylo Ren in battle, and now she is going to retrieve the galaxy's greatest hero, Luke Skywalker. So I think that, this is supposed to be the big hope that the what do they call them now? It's not the rebellion. Shit, what are they? Damn, I forgot what they go. You know what? Fuck, I'm just
The resistance.
Yes. So yeah, thank you. Yeah. So that I think this is going to be like the catalyst. It's like, look, we got, not only the guy who defeated Darth Vader and the Emperor. He's the guy who brought down the original Empire. We're bringing it back out of retirement. He's gonna go on a grand galaxy tour. It's gonna be fucking epic, So yeah, man. Just don't worry. We have the thing that's giving people hope. It's gonna spark, the thing that's gonna bring down the First Order. So I think that's what it is. It's just like, we got Luke Skywalker and we got Rey. So how can we lose?
What do you think, David? Do you think, like Don Willi said, you think it's just a metaphor, or do you think that that spark that Poe refers to, is it some kind of secret knowledge, something of like almost to mirror the other movies with the Death Star, how they find the weak point of the Death Star and blow it up from the inside out?
Well, it could be either one of three things. It's either one, like that I was saying, it's just like part of the trailer that was like needed to be said. I won't be surprised if it's even cut off from the damn film, where it's just hyping us up like, yeah, this is Star Wars. They got this damn spark, going to like defeat the First Order. There we go. Or it can be two other things. Possibly there's a point in time where the First Order is actually winning, and then in capturing, Poe Dameron, he says that line, and maybe they actually start to like maybe kill Poe. Or he can just be like gathering, alliances and stuff just to defeat the First Order. And he's like, hey, we got this spark. We're going to defeat them, but we need your help type of deal. So that's how I see that scene.
Yeah, I agree with both. I think it's more like Don says, it's more of like a hypothetical spark. Use the metaphor, like maybe they get a hold of Luke, and they think, okay, he's our key to taking care of this. But I have problems with that too, because I think, like, okay, we know Luke's powerful as a Jedi and all that, but like he's still one person. You have not even outside of Snoke, Kylo, and like Hux, and then you got like Phasma, and the whole unit, which is the First Order. Like, it's a lot of parts. And for them to be, I kind of look at it as being naive to think that Luke Skywalker, this one Jedi, is the key to taking it all down. Like, to me, it would make more sense if, like, I don't know, I can't remember if they refer to their Death Star sort of battle station, if it has a name or not. Do you guys remember if it had some kind of name? It wasn't like, I know it wasn't like Star Killer Base.
Yeah, Star Killer Base.
It was?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Oh shit. Yeah, I remember from books, I think with the Darth Revan and shit, I think they had something the same name, Star Killer Base, or maybe I'm thinking of the game.
No, it was the Star Forge.
Yes, video game.
Star Forge, yeah. And then you had Star Killer, right? The Darth Vader's apprentice, isn't that his name?
Right.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. I always get them mixed up. Yeah, so maybe it would make more sense to me, even though I wouldn't want that to happen, because I don't want another mirror movie of the first trilogy or whatever. But like I said, I do agree. I think it's just the hype, a metaphor, basically Luke being that spark, or maybe he is just the spark to get everybody's ambition and motivation going to fight the First Order and to take it down. I guess we'll see. But after that, it's back to Luke, and Luke says, "This is not going to go the way you think," and it's just plain and simple. Um, I wonder if I think really he's maybe he's having a confrontation with Kylo, or he could be even talking to his sister. What did you think about this, Don? It's pretty short and simple. Just says this is not going to go the way you think. Who do you think Luke's talking to in this part?
I think he's talking to Ray. I mean, I think it's a thing of, you know, she's heard stories about Luke Skywalker, and it's one of those things where she's like, "Oh, well, no, you're the guy who helped to bring down Darth Vader and the Emperor, and you're this powerful Jedi. No, you can just teach me how to do what you did." And just like, yeah, nah, maybe not so much. I'm not that guy anymore. So it's like you're thinking this is gonna be a cakewalk, and you can just come in here. I'll teach you some stuff, and you can go off, defeat Kylo Ren and Supreme Leader Snoke, and things will be all good. It's like, no, it's not going to happen that way.
Yeah, I think it does make sense what you said, because of the fact that I forgot about that in the trailer, it shows him, like, the camera's pointing at him, and you could tell they're still kind of, looks like they're in that cave on the Octu, I think it's called, the island they're on when he's training her, and it does seem like that's probably what it would be. What do you think, David? Do you agree that he's talking to Ray, or do you think it might be something else?
Again, my apologies. He was talking to Ray about.
He says all he says is this is not going to go the way you think. And Don Willi brought up a good point.
That's possibly Ray. It has to be Ray here that he's talking to. If anything, I know it's in this movie. The first half is probably going to be Ray wanting this training, and then Luke's gonna be like, "No, I don't want to train you. I'm done with it." But then he's gonna be pointing like, "You know what? I'm gonna end up training you," and then it's gonna be that earlier scene we saw in the trailer where he's gonna be like, he's gonna see that something's gonna happen. He's like gonna be afraid. So I think that's how it's gonna be.
Right. I think it's gonna kind of like when it comes to the mirroring again. I think it's gonna mirror Luke and Yoda. How like Yoda's telling him, like, you don't want this. You don't want this bad enough. Blah blah blah. You don't want to put in the work. And I think he's probably gonna do this, like you said, maybe the first half, at least the first third of the part when they show him and her on that island. Is that he's not gonna want to do it just because he's gonna think back to with Kylo, and we still don't know. Like, you see the flashback when she touches Luke's lightsaber / Anakin's lightsaber, because it really was Anakin's to begin with, I think, that blue one, and before he turned to Darth Vader. But she sees the part where it's Kylo, and that's another thing. The Knights of Ren, we don't know nothing about them. You know what I mean? Like, I think I'm more intrigued about that, finding out the backstory of that, than more Ray. Because, like, who are these Knights of Ren? Why? The only time we've ever seen any Knights plural other than Kylo Ren is when that flashback you see a bunch of like hooded figures, and he's the only one with a lightsaber. So apparently they're not force users. I mean, you would think if they were force users, they'd have a lightsaber. They all have different weapons. Like, a couple of them have like that blasters. Some have there's like stun saber things like Finn has in the trailer when he goes up against Phasma. So like I'm more intrigued to see who they are. Are they ex people from the academy that just didn't learn to use their force abilities? Who knows? But that part, yeah, I like that part. And you see the part where it's burning down. You take it as another mirror thing when Anakin goes back to the Jedi Academy and he kills all the younglings, and it seems like it's the same kind of scene. Like, Kyler just burns down the place and kills whoever's there. So like, I think Luke's going to be really hesitant to want to train her, because he doesn't want the same thing to happen. Or maybe he notices her power and realizes, look, I can train her as much as I want, But who's to say she doesn't take this training and go the wrong route, and he just does. He's just not wanting that to happen. But yeah, it seems that he's talking to Ray, especially when the way it matches up with the actual visual part of the trailer. All right, then the next part, it's the second to last one. You see or you hear Snoke, and it kind of matches the end part where you see. You can see him in his little like pimp robe he has, the little orange thing, and you can you see him talking, and then it goes to the part where Ray is like bent, like the arch or back's arched back, and still like she's in pain, and you kind of see him in the background. And I also seen a video where they show, because I know the old movies with the Sith, they had the red Imperial guards. They were in the red clothes, and they had the visor part that goes all the way across on their helmet, and you see someone similar to that, and they had these like kind of like pole axe looking things, kind of like Area Hota has in Song of Ice and Fire. But you hear Snoke say, "Fulfill your destiny." Now, I believe he's talking, right? Especially if it matches up, because you can see when he says that in the trailer, he has the same get up on as he does when he's in the background. It seems like he's torturing Rey, trying to push her to, I guess, go what he wants to do. So he says, "Fulfill your destiny." Do you think that it's clear that he's talking to Rey in this, or do you think it might just be trying to troll us with the visual part, and he might be talking to Kylo? I mean, who do you think, Don?
This one is a tricky one because it could be fulfill your destiny, go kill your mom, and become my apprentice. You know, the way that you're supposed to be. It could be Rey. You know, maybe there's some sort of prophecy about Rey where she's supposed to kill the Last Jedi, and it's like fulfill your destiny and kill Luke Skywalker. You know, so or who know? I mean, you know, with the way that things play out, with Destiny seems to be tied to something prophetic. So you know, it could be any one of a million things, just in terms of something that a character is supposed to do in order to become something greater. And you know, if you're talking about you know, Kylo Ren and Rey, it's obvious that these two are supposed to push the story forward. So yeah, without knowing more about what is supposed to be the end point, it's hard to know who he was talking to when it comes to the whole thing about fulfilling a destiny.
I mean, that is true. It does seem, because that's the thing that I think that makes it a hard choice, like you said, because they kind of make it, when it comes to the visual part of the trailer, want you to think that it is him talking to Rey. But like you said, unless we know what that destiny is, we really don't know. So yeah, I can see where that's a hard choice to make, which one he'd be talking to. But what do you think, David? You feel the same way?
Okay, now I can unmute. So, my opinion of it, I hope he's talking to Kylo there, because it seems like Snoke is just gonna be manipulating Kylo so he can destroy the Skywalker legacy. So he just like with the first lines of the trailer, it's like, oh, I've seen this raw power, whatever. Could be talking to Kylo, and if so, again, it's probably just gonna be completing the dialogue by saying, yeah, complete your destiny, kill your moms, make sure you even kill Luke as well. But if it turns out to be, you know, Rey and she's supposed to be the Sith Lord, I'm gonna be a little bit ticked off, because it just basically reminds me of how like Sidious was on Anakin, like fulfill your destiny, you know, defeat the Jedi. I think so. I'm just hoping they don't take that route of making that Rey all this time she was supposed to be a Sith, she was supposed to be a Jedi.
Yeah, you got a point. I mean, it is. That's the thing that makes this shit so hard to try to figure out. Like, because it's a lot of times with these trailers, they purposely troll you in the sense that they want you to get hyped about something. And of course, they ain't gonna tell you, you know, from the door what the whole outline and what's gonna happen, because then I mean most people ain't gonna want to go see something that they can pretty much figure out without even having to see the story unfold. But yeah, that's probably one of the harder ones that we went over to figure out. You know, you would want to think, you know, well, me anyways, I would think it'd be Ray because of how the trailer goes with what's the audio. But like I said, they've done things to fool you a lot of times on trailers that think one way, it's going one way and it goes total opposite direction. But the last bit of audio in this trailer is Ray, and she says, "I need someone to show me my place in all this." And now this part's it's just kind of like the last one in a sense, because this is the final part where they show her talking, and then it pans back to Kylo, and then he puts his hand out, and you're thinking he's putting his hand out to her to try to, because you see in the end of Force Awakens when he's fighting with her, and he's like, you need someone to show you how to use your abilities and stuff. So it kind of makes sense that it would be him, but I think it's just too easy for it to be that. How about you, Don? What do you think it's clean cut thinking that it's she's talking to Kylo, or do you think it's her talking to Luke or whatever? Like, what do you think about it?
No, I think it's definitely Kylo. I mean, look, we could see a situation where, you know, maybe Luke abandons her. You know, yeah, we could see a situation where Luke abandons Rey and just like, oh, you know what? Look, I told you I wasn't for this. This is too much. You know, they killed my best friend. You know, my sister might be dead. I got this dude fucking hunting me all over the galaxy and shit. I can't take it anymore, man. I told you I didn't play any part of this. No, I gotta leave him out. It just bounces. Takes R2, get me the fuck out of here. So, you know, the Rey's just sitting there like, wait, but you were supposed to help me defeat shit. My parents left and now Luke left too. Yeah, Kylo, I need someone to show me my place in all this because now I'm lost.
What do you think, David? You think it's her talking to Kylo? I mean, the trailer, where the trailer puts, they really want us to think that's what it is. And that man, I never thought of that too, Don. That makes good sense that, you know, he might not be willing to take on this task. You know, he might, and it would make sense because she's already been deserted once, you know, and left on Jakku, and put faith that somebody was going to come back for her. So, that makes more sense than you think, really. So, what do you think, David? You think it's Kylo she's talking to?
She was talking to the poor, quote. But in all seriousness, who was she talking to? It's like, the way you see it, it's like you see debris falling behind Kylo, but you don't see the debris falling behind Rey. But you kind of see that like fire lighting in front of Rey, but it's like, I don't know. It's like, I'm still thinking that Rey was possibly just like talking to Luke, but then it could be like Luke doesn't want to train her no more, so maybe she goes to either Snoke, which then transitions to that torture scene. Maybe he's like trying to awaken more of her powers or something. I don't know. It could then be, you know, Kylo, because if he's going on this redemption arc, she's going to tag team up with Kylo, because in the Force Awakens, he says, I can like show you, I can train you. And if he has this power that Luke was afraid of, and he kind of seems to have control of it, maybe he could be the damn teacher that was promised. But it's for sure that they can't be talking to each other, you know. And if so, maybe I'll be surprised, but I don't want to just say that's just concrete. I don't want to say that the trailer basically spoiled a pivotal moment of The Last Jedi. If they did that, that would be stupid, you know. Just like we saw like The Force Awakens. It's like they marketed to the point where we thought it was Finn's story, or him being simply the Jedi with the damn lightsaber and with him holding on the posters and such. Even when it came to like toys, they didn't even like market Rey with a damn lightsaber in the toys until after the damn movie came out, when it was confirmed that, yeah, she's actually the Jedi. So I'm not going to say that it's going to be them two at the end of this just yet, maybe, but I don't know. It's so debatable there. I just hope that it's just her talking to Luke, saying like I need someone to train me, and then he's fine. Says, you know what, I'm gonna train you, or something like that. For we know, it could just be a Force vision of or flashback of like Luke showing her like what happened, and then all of it, she's like, okay, could you please train me so I can just prevent whatever they're planning. That's my.
Yeah, I mean it's too with the when Rogue One coming out last year. Like I was on such a high with that. Like I know this is its own thing because it's part of this, trilogy, and Rogue One was a side movie. But like I was kind of, I'm not gonna lie, I was a little let down with Force Awakens, but then Rogue One kind of like I was so like I loved that movie. Like all the from beginning to end. I thought the story writing was great. The effects, everything. Like it was cool. See this little ragtag, band of, outcasts and shit come together and do what they had to do. I really liked it. So I'm hoping this isn't, doesn't backslide to Force Awakens. And I hope it takes more of its own, it makes its own story and not wanting to mirror the other movies. But yeah, man, that's the last of the audio of the trailer. We've been going for about an hour and 40 minutes now, so I think we could probably wrap this up. I just want to start by saying thank you for people in the chat that came out with us. I know this is different from our usual streaming material. I know a lot of people are more on the Song of Ice and Fire, Game of Thrones, but it got kind of hype seeing this trailer come out. Unless you two got anything else you want to say, I'll say we give our little outros. You guys are good. You got something?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm just hoping that they don't totally destroy the Star Wars saga going forward. Mark Hamill, and Mark Hamill could be trolling, but Mark Hamill has said that he wasn't necessarily on board with the way that Luke Skywalker is portrayed in his film, but he's like, look, I'm Luke Skywalker. They hired me to do the job. I'm going to do the job. Now, it could be a major troll. It could be 100% him trolling just to kind of get people hyped. Like, oh, what happened to Luke? What happened to Luke? The Force Awakens, even though it was a good movie, there were things about it that that me being a long-term Star Wars fan kind of left a bitter taste in my mouth. Them Disney deciding to scrap the extended universe, the expanded universe, and make that all Legends. Because I'll be honest with you, when I was sitting in the movie theater and Han Solo called, and it was like I felt it coming when Han Solo called him Ben. I almost wanted to flip over some chairs and tables and throw popcorn at the screen because I was just kind of like, to me that didn't make any sense. It's like why in the world would Han Solo and Leia name their kid Ben when Ben wasn't even the guy's real name?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so look, I'm just, again, I like The Force Awakens. I'm hoping that that this one steps up their game. I mean, Rian Johnson is a good director. I loved Looper. Looper is like one of my favorite kind of sci-fi action movies of the past 10 years. So, a lot of people have faith in Rian Johnson as far as the direction or as far as him being a director is concerned. So I'm hoping that any fears that I have will be elated when I actually see the movie. But right, I'm gonna give it a fair shake. But I'm I'm in the season of like, yo, if you screw up something I love, I'm going to bash you repeatedly, and I'm not going to to relent on that. You know, so yeah, just I hope they've made a movie that is worthy of the stories that they've scrapped.
Yeah, right. I feel the same way. Yeah, Ryan Looper was a great movie. That's one of my favorites, probably in the 2000s. I really enjoyed that movie. David, you got anything you want to say, or you good?
All I gotta say is, from this trailer, looks like it's gonna be a Kylo Ren movie. 2, it better be a kick-ass movie, and hopefully it explains all this questioning of how Rey is this powerful. If they don't explain it this movie and drag it on to the last one, episode 9, I'll be pissed, because I want them to explain it all here so they can explain all the questioning in episode 7. That's all I got to say about that, but I'm looking forward to it. It's Star Wars. I'm going to be hyped for it. It's like Rogue One. Rogue One, I knew what was going to happen in Rogue One, but when I saw the damn trailer, when I saw promotional stuff, I was still hyped for it. So it's going to be Star Wars. It's going to be great. I'm going to be fanboying, watching it that night, probably watch it again. Then somehow, third or fourth watch, I'll be a little bit disappointed if they actually did disappoint me by not answering my questions. And then we'll go right back to watching it again and again and again, talking about it streams to streams, because it's just damn Star Wars. Nothing but Star Wars.
I mean, listen, I'm just hoping they don't pull what Ridley Scott did with like Prometheus and Alien Covenant, where it's just like, yeah, you know, we brought up a bunch of questions. Oh, you thought we were going to answer those questions, didn't you? No, there's more questions. Oh, they better not do that shit. Don't do that.
No, the Alien franchise is done. There's no hope. It's just the lies of the Jedi that they have just sprung on us. That's what it is.
Yeah, like I understand leaving certain things unanswered for a later date, but to completely not answer them at all and then throw more shit on top of it, yeah, I don't dig that at all. But yeah, my girl's getting kind of mad at me because she's hungry, so I'm gonna get going here with everybody. You let you do your outro, Don. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, first off, I want to say thank you for having me here. You know, it has been a pleasure. Thank you to everybody who's been with us in the chat live tonight, and also thank you to all those who will watch later. You know, you can find me on my channel, Don of Ice and Fire. Currently, I'm doing a weekly opinion series about different characters from Game of Thrones and Song of Ice and Fire. Last night I did Vargo Holt and Locke, because those two are pretty much the same character, but they gave them a little bit different backstories. The next week will be Roose Bolton. So hope you guys can join for that one. You know, I'm pretty sure the link for the channel will be in the description. Or if not, just look me up for, you know, on a Don of Ice and Fire. All right. Thanks for coming out, and good night.
Yeah, I definitely put it in the description after we're done here. Yeah, thank you for coming out, Don. I know it was a little last minute, but I appreciate it nonetheless. And I'm still looking forward to you doing a Ice and Fire opinions on Shagwell one of these weeks. So you already got to start on the break opinions. You're gonna have to throw a couple more out there, especially Shagwell with his 3-headed Morning Star.
I'll make sure to put that on the list.
All right, BBM, everybody where you can find you.
You can find me on BrokeBlackMan94 YouTube channel. You know, mainly I do reactions on my channel. I don't do like that much live streams on my channel. I mainly do live streams on other people's channel as a guest, but I mainly just do reactions. Currently, I'm doing, you know, Gotham, The Gifted, and now Supernatural, since that finally came back. and many more like Legion and soon Westworld whenever they decide to freaking air that on HBO.
Yeah, man, I just want to tell you two things for coming out. I really appreciate you guys coming out and help. I just wanted to, talk about Star Wars. Like I said, I love Star Wars, and the trailer got me a little pumped, even though it was kind of all over the place with what meant what. But I guess that's what makes us want to go see it when it comes out. But yeah, it's something a little different than what we usually talk about. But hey, you need a little variety in your life every once in a while. But yeah, I'll put the descriptions of each of you guys' channels and where we can find you guys in the description. Like I said, I want to say thanks again for you guys coming out. Thank the chat for that was here with us. Anybody that's gonna be watching later. And with that, I'll say peace out.